All right, welcome back to Bayou Time, and we're continuing our discussion with Lafourche Parish President Charlotte Randolph, and we have been talking about the permitting process at length. And before we move to another subject, there was a question that came during the break from our producer, actually, who just kind of thought of it, and because he lives in Lafourche Parish, and he was kind of interested to know if, let's say, his neighbor or he himself wants to live at his mom's house in a RV, if you will, and decides, well, you know, I don't want to buy another piece of property. I'm just going to hook up this RV. It's in sort of a rural area right next door, and I'm going to get electricity hooked up to it. I'm going to hook it to the sewer and everything. But it's mobile. I can get in and leave. Is that going to cause a problem with getting a permit because of the federal guidelines and things like that?
Yes, it would, Jason.
Okay.
Mobile homes today are HUD approved. We certainly understand that they are a quick way to get into independent living. You know, the people can tour many of our local or mobile home dealers and find the home they want to live in. But an RV is something that is not, a mobile home is something today that is HUD approved for wind speed, for electrical, for plumbing, everything else, okay? HUD, Housing and Urban Development. An RV is not.
All right.
And yes, I know it is easy to evacuate that quickly, but because we deal with so many different types of weather systems here, it is not a safe way to live. Lafourche Parish is almost 100 miles long. We have 2 compliance officers who travel the parish and do an excellent job. We have public works employees who are in and out of subdivisions, streets, and if they see a problem, they alert us to it. Again, not because there's an animus toward the particular person who's in that unit.
Right.
It's because it's for the whole. It's for everyone in Lafourche Parish. What FEMA will do is that they will do a community visit unannounced, come into our permit department, arbitrarily pull 40 permits, and go to each one of those sites and determine whether or not they're in compliance. Now, these people also will kind of check out the neighborhood while they're there, or look around while they're driving down the road and see if there's some new construction going on or something that has been constructed recently, and ask questions about that as well. So what I suppose the main point I need to emphasize is that while we are focusing in on our little world, what we do also impacts those around us and those fellow residents of the parish.
Right.
So it's essential that we begin to accept what we cannot change until we find a way to change it. We went straight to the source and said, help us find a way. We went to the legislature with the assistance of Representative Gisclair and said, we have to study this. We have to make certain that this is everything we need. Or is it overkill? The word overkill is used very often. But if it's in the book, it's got to be enforced. And we definitely are doing so. Another example I can give you is there's a marina at Fouchon where we're requiring him to build what he refers to as deer stands, but they're elevated electrical systems that are safe from storm surges, okay? It's costing him more money to do so. But should we have an event, should we have a storm, they are above the normal storm surge. And therefore, he could actually begin operations as soon as electricity is turned back on. Whereas if he installs it at wharf level, it could be ruined in the storm surge. And therefore, he couldn't operate for a very long time to come.
Right.
Okay? It's just being prepared to be ready to start business all over again once the danger is gone.
Very good and very well stated, and we're appreciating all that information bringing out to the residents. Actually, we're over time on the other break. Let's take another break. When we come back, we have a couple other issues that I know you would like to talk about, and we're over a year since the BP disaster, and I know Lafourche Parish had some impact with that, as we all did. And at this time last year, actually, we weren't able to fish, but now everything's open. So we'll talk a little bit about that and some upcoming events when we return from this break. More with Lafourche Parish President Charlotte Randolph.